യെസ്, ഹലോ എവ്രി വൺ, വെൽക്കം. നമ്മളുടെ ഇന്ന് നമ്മൾ പ്ലാൻ ചെയ്ത ലൈവിലേക്ക് എല്ലാവർക്കും സ്വാഗതം. ലെറ്റ്സ് ലിസൺ ടു എ കാശ്മീരി പണ്ഡിറ്റ്, അതാണ് ഇന്ന് നമ്മൾ വെച്ചിരിക്കുന്ന ടൈറ്റിൽ. പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ തന്നെ കാശ്മീർ ഫയൽസ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ ഒരു മൂവി ഇവിടെ വന്നതിന് ശേഷം ഒരുപാട് ചർച്ചകൾ കാശ്മീരി പണ്ഡിറ്റുകൾ നേരിട്ട വിഷയത്തെക്കുറിച്ചും ആ ഒരു ലോകത്ത് ജീവിക്കുന്ന ആളുകൾ അവരുടെ പ്രശ്നങ്ങളെക്കുറിച്ചും ഒക്കെ ഇവിടെ വളരെയധികം ചർച്ച നടന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന കാര്യമാണ്. അപ്പോൾ അതോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ നമുക്കറിയാം കാശ്മീരി പണ്ഡിറ്റുകളുടെ വിഷയം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഒരു രാഷ്ട്രീയ വിഷയമായിട്ടാണ് പലപ്പോഴും ഇവിടെ നിലനിൽക്കുന്നതായിട്ട് കാണുന്നത്. ഒരു മനുഷ്യാവകാശ പ്രശ്നമായിട്ടോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആ മനുഷ്യർ നേരിട്ടുള്ള ഹ്യൂമൻ റൈറ്റ്സ് വയലേഷനുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ടിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങളോ ഇതൊന്നും ഇവിടെ പലപ്പോഴും വേണ്ട രീതിയിൽ ചർച്ച ചെയ്യപ്പെടുന്നതായിട്ട് നമുക്ക് കാണാൻ കഴിയില്ല. അപ്പോൾ അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ അത്തരം വിഷയങ്ങളിലൊരു നിലപാടെടുക്കുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടോ അതല്ലെങ്കിൽ അതിലൊരു തീർപ്പ് കൽപ്പിക്കുന്നതിനോ ഒന്നുമല്ല നമ്മൾ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. നമ്മളെപ്പോഴും പറയാറുള്ളത് പോലെ ഒരു വിഷയം സംഭവിക്കുമ്പോൾ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നടന്നു കഴിയുമ്പോൾ ആ വിഷയത്തിൽ നേരിട്ട് ഭാഗഭാക്കായ ആളുകൾ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അതിൻ്റെ ഇരകൾ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ആളുകൾ അവരിൽ നിന്ന് തന്നെ കാര്യങ്ങളെക്കുറിച്ച് അറിയാൻ ശ്രമിക്കുക എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് നമ്മൾ സ്ഥിരമായിട്ട് ചെയ്തു വരുന്ന കാര്യമാണ്. UP-യിലെ ചില കുട്ടികളൊക്കെ മരണപ്പെടുന്ന ഹോസ്പിറ്റലിൽ ഓക്സിജൻ കിട്ടാതെയൊക്കെ മരണപ്പെട്ട അവസ്ഥ ഉണ്ടായപ്പോൾ അവിടുത്തെ ആ ഒരു കഫീൽ ഖാൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഡോക്ടറെയൊക്കെ നമ്മൾ വിളിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് വന്ന് ഇതുപോലെ അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് പറയാനുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ കേൾക്കാനൊക്കെ നമ്മൾ തയ്യാറായത് നമുക്ക് ഓർമ്മയുണ്ടാവും. എന്തായാലും ആ ഒരു പ്രവണത അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആ ഇരയിൽ നിന്ന് തന്നെ ഇരകളാക്കപ്പെട്ട ആളുകളിൽ നിന്ന് തന്നെ അവരുടെ ആ ഒരു വിഷയത്തെക്കുറിച്ച് അവർക്ക് പറയാനുള്ള കാര്യത്തെക്കുറിച്ച് നേരിട്ട് അറിയുക എന്നുള്ളത് ഒരു മാന്യമായ ഒരു നിലപാടായതുകൊണ്ട് അതിനുവേണ്ടി ഞാനിവിടെ ശ്രമിക്കുകയാണ്. അപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങളെല്ലാവരും ഇത്ര നേരം അതിനുവേണ്ടി കാത്തിരുന്നതിന് നന്ദി പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട് നമുക്ക് വിഷയത്തിലേക്ക് കടക്കാം. അതിനു മുന്നേ I wanted to welcome our dear friend Vithal Chowdhary. He's from Kashmir and he's a Kashmiri Pandit, and I think he himself will give more introduction about him just before beginning our session. So I welcome him wholeheartedly on behalf of all the listeners from our country, especially from Kerala. So welcome Vithal, and over to you. The stage is yours, all yours.
Thank you, Arif. Thank you for inviting me to talk about the genocide of Kashmir. I think the genocide is not about just specific to the Kashmir region. The genocide has been a continuous process in India since the last 1,000 years of India. Just give me a second.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my daughter is around, so there will be a little noise from my daughter.
Okay.
Anyways, so genocide of Hindus, has been a continuous process for the last 1,000 years. And 1,000 years process.
Can you be a little more louder? I think your voice is a bit low.
The genocide of Hindus has been a continuous process for the last 1,000 years, and this 1,000 years has meant that around 440 million Hindus have been converted or killed in India. Mm-hmm. As regards to Kashmir, we defeated the Islamic onslaught twice from Muhammad of Ghaznavi by Raja Sangram Raj, and then also we defeated the Arabs in 712 AD. At the advent of Islam into Asia itself, we defeated them. We kept connected. The only issue happened with Kashmiri as regards to Kashmir was that the kings of Kashmir were too kind to the invaders, that they allowed some of the people in the garb of Sufism to get into Kashmir and then start process of converting. Mm-hmm. You will be so surprised to know that such was the sheep garb of the people, that the first king, the first Islamic Shami, was coronated by reciting Sanskrit hymns. So he was actually recited as a Hindu, coronated as a Hindu king would have been.
Okay.
And what happened immediately after when the Kashmiri dynasty came in Kashmir, the process of the persecution and the genocide of Hindus started in 1339. Since 1339 till this date, Kashmir, which is considered to be the fountainhead of Indian civilization, has been completely converted. It's 99.9% Islamicides. It is more brutally Islamic than any other Islamic state in the world. The people there are more radical. The Islam is more radical. There is nothing called Sufism that which is left in Kashmir. Anything that you see is the process of al-taqiyya, wherein people, just pretend to be kind to your religion, but they are not. They are not kind. So this is what has happened in Kashmir.
Yeah,
When you're talking about the genocide that I was part of,
Yeah, just a second. Just going deep into those issues, I just wanted to get a background of you as a person. So can you just give a gist of that? Like, where are you from, and where were you staying in Kashmir, and now where are you and all?
I am. Yes, I am from Kashmir. There's a place in Kashmir near Srinagar called Ranawar. It is around 2 kilometers from the Srinagar city, and we belong to that place. We have a recorded. My ancestors have a recorded history of around 500 years being from that place. Currently, I am in exile since 1990. We are living in Delhi, and in Delhi, I'm a software programmer myself. I have a software company.
Okay.
And that is what I do professionally. And yes, I'm part of an organization called Pandit Kashmir. I'm the organizing secretary of their youth group. Pandit Kashmir, Panun means our own, and Kashmir is so our own Kashmir. Okay. We are working towards of attainment of the return of Kashmiri Hindus according to their own wishes.
Okay. So are you in touch with an organization which was existing during those times, which they were not willing to go out of Kashmir, thinking that it's their own place, and they remained in those places in Kashmir itself? And what do you have to say about them?
Oh, the people who didn't leave in 1990s?
Yeah.
Those were very minuscule minority amongst minorities. Around not more than 400 families. 300 families stayed behind, and even the people who stayed behind. So they were treated with massacres after massacres. So Bandhama happened to those people only who stayed. Bandhama massacre, Nadimarg massacre. If you have seen Kashmir Files, the massacre that you see at the end was of the people who remained in Kashmir, who stayed behind in Kashmir for the after 1990s. So they were massacres and slaughters.
Okay. So, with regards to the Kashmir Files movie, it is being called as a propaganda movie, and it was called as something which is being used by the right-wing politicians to propagate hate towards Muslims and the Islamophobia and all. So, how do you react to that? What's your take on that?
I'm not surprised, because whenever the truth has been spoken in India, it has been called propaganda. So I'm not surprised, because for the last 32 years, we have been telling our story, and we have been labeled as right-wing, communal. We have been labeled as communal who are victims of communalism themselves. So I'm not surprised about what they said about Kashmir Files. As regards to Kashmir Files, right from the scene 1, where you see that kid being beaten up, it has happened to me.
Oh, okay.
The exact scene has happened to me. I was beaten up because in the movie it is shown that Sachin Tendulkar was scoring runs. But on the contrary, it was Sanjay Manjrekar, if you remember, he scored a double century against Pakistan in 1988. And I was at my Nani's place. I was at my grandma's place, which is in Ganderbal, which happens to be the constituency of Arif Hussain Theruvath. So we were celebrating his century, and I was pretending to be Sanjay Manjrekar. Such was the angst against us that they just tied me to the pole and beat me. Now, I also responded in the manner, but there was like Kashmiri Hindus in Kashmir, I was also outnumbered. There were 20-30 kids who just started beating me. So the process started, So right from, is it not true that Girja Tikku was raped and cut into sawmills? It is all documented. Is it not true that Sarvanand Kol Premi was shot in his head? Sarvanand Lal Kol Premi was a great poet. He was a person who kept Quran also in his temple. And he was so sure about his students, Muslim students, that they will not kill him. And then he was taken, and his son was also taken, 17-year-old son. And they were shot dead here on the temple. So what was lie? Is it not about D.K. Ganju? They shot him in the rice drum and asked his wife to eat that rice.
Okay.
And the things that you're seeing in the movie is not 1% of what has happened to that family.
Okay.
It's just 1% of it.
So
There was a girl I
Hmm.
met. I'll just one more example of the brutalities you need to understand, which Kashmir Files also couldn't show, because we are 7 lakh people who were hounded up. Here we have 7 lakh stories. Kashmir File is a story of only one family, and such has been the problem with these left wing moderate people, that they couldn't even withstand one true story of Kashmiri Hindus. Just imagine if all Kashmiri Hindu stories comes out. What is going to happen in this country?
Yeah.
And tell me one thing: which communal riot broke after this depiction of this movie? Which Kashmiri Pandit picked up a gun and started shooting Muslims? What happened exactly after Kashmir Files? How many Kashmiri Pandits returned to Kashmir? How many Kashmiri Muslims came out and welcomed them and said sorry? Instead, they called it a communal movie.
Yeah.
Instead, the left cabal called it an attempt to vilify Muslims of Kashmir. Attempt to vilify. But they are forgetting that the first documentary, the first news reports which were made by Manoj Raghuvanshi in News Track, supposedly a left-leaning production. You can see it. It is available on YouTube. Exact same things have happened.
Yeah.
The children, 4-year to 12-year, they were calling from Nizam Mustafa, from the masjids on roads. There were lakhs on the roads. Yes.
Yeah.
So called. I'm not surprised,
Yeah.
because it has been a process. Such was the problem with these people, that when they used to invite their Gandhians like Yasin Malik and Sayyid Ali Shah Gilani, and when we as young people used to protest against it, we were arrested. There has not been a single auditorium in Delhi where we have not been thrown out. Just because we told them these are the terrorists, these are the people who are responsible for the rape and exodus or the genocide of our community. We were thrown out. I remember a very senior journalist telling me not to use word like genocide. He said that how can you call it a genocide? Only 300 of your people have died, have been killed. So such has been the denial from their end. And Kashmir Files is just one step of it.
Yeah.
There will be much more files coming up.
Yeah. I just wanted to add something to that, because even when we talk about this Kashmiri Pandits and the genocide which happened to them, when we use this word genocide, then most of the people come and confront us by saying that what genocide happened there? It is just 200 people who got killed, or maybe less than 1,000 who got killed. So they are just understanding this whole problem as just by the number of people got killed, and they are completely ignoring the number of people who got displaced from that place and who are still living away from that state, and they are not able to come back, and all such issues. So I personally wanted to ask you which term you really use, or you wish to use, whether genocide or as an exodus. Which one do you use?
Absolutely, it is a genocide.
Okay.
The most prolific scholar of genocide studies is Gregory Stanton. Now, Gregory Stanton has given 8 stages of genocide.
Okay.
Now, I wish the people who are telling you that it is not a genocide go and study those 8 stages and compare all the 8 stages with what has happened with Kashmiri Hindus, the Hindus of Kashmir since 1339. And the process of genocide has never stopped. And numbers, if you count numbers, I'll give you a very specific number: 44 million. 44 Kashmiri Hindu people have been killed since 1339. Now you count it 700 years and 44 million. Now count every year how many lakh people have been killed in Kashmir. An entire ethnic community, we are the original Aborigines of Kashmir, right? Has been hounded out. There is not a single symbol, there is not even 0.1% of our community left in Kashmir. Now, what happened to those 99.9% people? So, isn't it a genocide? Is genocide now what the problem with people is that they don't have the correct numbers, and it's a problem with Indian state also. Even if you ask Indian state, they will give you a superficial number of 209. I can give you 1,767 names of people who were killed.
Okay.
1767. Our estimates are somewhere around 2,000 people.
Okay.
Now, 2,000 people killed in 3 months is not a genocide, but some 200-300 people killed in Godhra is all big program, and there are villains made out of people who have been exonerated from the court also.
Okay.
7 lakh people, an entire community being hounded out of their place and living in exile is not a genocide. But some 2,000, 1,500 refugees were from Gujarat went to Mumbai and then came back and got jobs in every placements is a program. It is a killing. It is a mayhem, and it is every and the person who did was a Motka Swadagar and everything. Right, their entire politics revolves around both.
So there's a double standard.
So that is the problem.
Yeah.
The double standards, yes, absolute double standards, absolute double standards.
And you can
but
see
I'm
that
not
very
surprised.
clearly.
As I said in the beginning, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. They
Yes.
are thrived on it. They will thrive. The problem is with us in India.
So you were mentioning about the numbers. So there's a big debate about the numbers. That is the number. I'm just mentioning about the deaths. Okay, the official number of deaths that is being counted is 650 people being killed, and at the same time the movie showed about somewhere around 4,000 deaths. I don't exactly remember the number, but still there's an account of almost 1.5 lakh people being displaced as an official record. At the same time, there is more than 5 lakh people getting displaced from other unofficial records, including from the movie. So what is the exact number that you can give me, like as per your perspective?
As I said, that I can give you the names of 1767 people who have been killed.
Okay.
1,767.
Okay.
But
you can name them.
Yes, we have the names, dates, everything.
Okay.
The number that you are saying, 650, is not an official count between.
Mm-hmm.
It is a count done by Sanjay Tikku of KPSS, who are the people who stayed back in Kashmir.
Yeah,
and he surveyed.
Yeah.
So that is KPSS figure. The official figure is 209.
Okay.
The government of India has got no figures of how many people Kashmiri Hindus have died. And that is the biggest, tragedy of it.
Yeah. What might be the reason why they were not keeping a record of such things when they were even able to count?
There are multiple reasons. One reason would have been that whenever, at the time of genocide, at the time of 1990s, 89, 90, what happened specifically was when we used to go to when people would complain and the police would not register those complaints, some others would not get registered. I'll tell you one small incident, and you will get to know why these numbers are also not correct.
Okay.
2 months back, I met a Kashmiri Hindu lady, and she told me a story that she was a college topper. She was picked up from her home in a police station and raped for 30 days. With her, there were another 15 ladies who were raped for 30 days and then left. Such was the brutality done on that lady that they beat her at every given body part that they can have. Her leg had to be amputated.
Okay.
Because of shame, because of the shame, she could not go to the police station and tell that this has happened to them, because it was police who committed it. At that point of time, even Jammu Kashmir police is a very different. Today's Jammu Kashmir police is a very different Jammu Kashmir police than in 1990s.
Okay.
That in 1990s, Jammu Kashmir police was hand in gloves with the terrorists.
Okay.
They abdicated their responsibilities and duties. Today, Jammu Kashmir police is a police which has broken the back of terrorism. So these are completely different two police, police actions that are happening. So there would have been multiple number of cases which would have gone, unregistered, unaccounted for. So what we did a small survey within our community, and we asked people to name people who had died, and we got to a figure of 1767.
Okay.
Our estimates.
Yeah. Have you ever? Yeah. Just a second. Have you ever made an attempt to publish those names or to get it presented in front of any of the authorities?
Yes. One of our sister organizations, Roots in Kashmir, did go to Supreme Court to ask them to open the cases against the criminals and open 289 FIRs. And the court said that you are too late. You're too late. So a lot has happened after that, and it will be futile the attempt to do that. So,
okay.
The problem, which again, credit goes to Kashmir Files to actually bring it to the front.
Yeah.
So what has happened? Kashmir Files has actually told you how a genocide is denied. Genocide is denied by administration. Genocide has been denied by media. Genocide has been denied by system. Genocide is denied even by the people of India.
People are forced to deny. That's what I believe.
It took people 32 years to know
Yeah.
that there was a community, Kashmiri Hindu community, who were forced out of Kashmir. 32 years. Can you imagine? This is India, modern India.
Okay.
32 years for a movie to make them understand. Not everybody knows it.
So
still, there are a lot of people who are ignorant to the fact that, like I'm ignorant to the fact that what is happening in Kerala. I'm not getting the problem. If I'm not connected with the people like you or different people, I won't get to know what is happening in Bengal or Kerala because it is again denial.
Unless there's a Kerala Files movie comes out.
Yes, unless there's a after 32 years of whatever happened. Do you know how many people know what happened in Mupla? Not many people know what happened in Mupla, right? Not many people know what happened immediately after the assassination of Mr. Gandhi.
Yeah, true.
In Maharashtra, in Pune, how many Brahmins were slaughtered? Not, I'm in Delhi, and I tell you, and this is very shameful. Let you know, this is not very good thing.
Yeah.
There were Delhi riots in 2020, right?
Yeah.
And that is the place is only 15 to 20 kilometers from the place I live in.
Okay.
We were not even, in know of the things that what is happening in that. We were going with our lives.
Okay.
When the riots were happening, it was only when the Delhi riots documentary came out, we got to know the atrocities that were committed on. Yes, something was happening. So they have the system with them. We don't have the system with us. They have everything going for them.
So I have a question here. When you were comparing about this other incidents or other riots happened in our country. So when we talk about Kashmir, there's another incident that happened in Kashmir, which is getting compared with this Kashmir, these atrocities that happened in which caused this exodus. That is being the comparison with the 1947 Kashmir massacre that happened along with the partition and all. So have you ever thought of that, or what is your take on that? Where there are
but then when we're talking about Kashmir massacre, do you know that 40,000 Hindus were also killed in that massacre?
Yeah, I know.
Those riots?
Yeah, and the reasons behind that.
Yes. So when we talk about 1947, just go back 16 years and talk about 1931 also. Where the actual genesis, the modern genocide of Kashmiri Hindus take place.
Okay.
When so-called very modern, tallest Kashmiri leader Sheikh Abdullah made that inflammatory speech against Hindus, and the homes of Hindus were looted, the women. There are still 9 women we don't know what happened to those Kashmiri Hindu women in 1931.
Okay, they're still missing.
I don't know to which place. 1931 I'm talking about. 13 July 1931. So it was 16 years before 1947. The uprising, they say, was against the Maharaja.
Yeah, true.
A Hindu Maharaja. But the people who were classified and the polarization was against the Hindus of Kashmir. Now I told you about the 2 stages of genocide. First and the 6th stage. Classification and polarization. It happened in 1931 also. What happened in 1947 there was partition. 1931 it was against Maharaja. What happened in 1986 Anantnag? 1986 Anantnag, 300 Kashmiri Hindu homes were burnt. Temples were desecrated in Anantnag. It was 1986. It was a precursor to what happened in 1989.
Yeah.
Much before Babri was demolished. Before any temple was demolished, 1986, 300 homes and temples were demolished in Kashmir. Nobody knew about it.
Yeah. So this is a usual narration, or this is a usual comparison that goes on in our country whenever we speak about these kind of communal riots and all. That is always there will be some kind of reason behind that. So my take over that is just for an information that I'm just sharing, or my perspective of that is that whenever there is a problem like this where Islam is one party, and on other side, whichever be the religion on the other side, even if that is a political agitation or a political problem, that gains a religious phase out of that, and then it becomes a religious fight, and then it becomes a religious problem, and after that the other parties also will be bringing in their religion and their beliefs, and then they will be trying to defend that in that manner. And later on, when we try to learn the history, the only thing which comes to our mind would be, or which will be presented to us, will be just the fight between the religion. There won't be any political triggers or some political elements that actually cause this problem, the whole problem. So that's one thing. The simple reason is, whichever be or whatever be the reason, whatever be the agitation, there will be a religious transformation, and that will be mainly done by the Islamic faction, whatever be the issue is. You can see that all over the world, whether you draw a cartoon or whether you draw anything like that. So, being an ex-Muslim, I can clearly say this, and I'm already a Sanghi here. I'm a labeled official Sanghi, so I can say that clearly. And that's the exactly same thing which I could find even in this issue as well, in this Kashmir issue as well. So, moving on to the next part.
Just to add on to one, just
yeah, please go on.
To what you said.
Yeah.
What we need to understand that what happened in Kashmir, like I said, it was a continuous process of 700 years.
Mm-hmm.
Kashmir is the fountainhead of Indian civilization, and also on the fault lines of their civilization conflict.
Mm-hmm.
So when a place is on the fault lines, it is always going to be the first attack is always going to be on that place.
Oh.
What has happened in Kashmir is that despite of the continuous Islamic onslaught of 700 years, continuous convergence, mayhem and everything, they have not been able to convert all of the Kashmir. There are still temples, there are Kashmiri Hindus like us who remain Hindus, despite of the persecution that we face. Such was the persecution that Jona Raja in his Rajatarangani writes, that the Islamic, I don't call them Islamists. I think that Islamist is a term used to deny the term that it is Islamic onslaught also. So the Islamic onslaughters, the Islamic terrorists, when they came to Kashmir, they hunched onto the Kashmiri Hindus like locusts would go onto the rice paddies. Such was there was lakhs of them, and they started killing them. Sikandar Butchikan, the icon classed, when he went to Kashmir, when he started killing Kashmiri Hindus, he burned 4 mounds of the generals, Kashmiri Hindus, and it burned for 1 month. He used to tie Kashmiri Hindus and throw them in Dal Lake. The Dal Lake that people go to today, if you just excavate that, do that excavation of the Dal Lake, you will see a lot of skeletons of people. So he used to tie them and throw them so that they don't swim. They die there. So the process was always religious. Process was always to convert that place into Darul Ulum. They need to convert that place into Darul Islam. The Sharia had to be established. And the similar thing happened in 19th also.
Yeah. I don't know.
The entire process was to establish Nizam-e-Mustafa.
Yeah.
The entire process was to establish Sharia. And even today, the process is that on. We are, we don't understand the real problem. We are kind of ostriches who have just put our heads in sand and believe that it is all secularism, Kashmiriyat, Jamhuriyat, Insaniyat, etc., etc. It is nothing like that. The first moment that they will get you is they will either convert you or kill you. They will not give you third option also. Running will not be option anymore. Like in Kashmir files, they said Ralil, Salil, Galil.
Yeah.
So they give us 3 options.
Yeah.
So the next option will not be 3. It will be only 2. It will be either convert or get killed. There is no option of running.
Okay. Once you decided to stay back, there is no option of running as well.
There is no option running. So then you have to convert.
So that's what I was about to ask you. That is, I don't know whether how many people will be able to digest or grasp what he's telling here, especially regarding the institution of Darul Uloom, that is the dream. behind all these things. And that is something, or Darul Islam, we say. Darul Islam. So that's the whole point of whatever be these kind of jihad or these kind of atrocities is being done all over the world. We can see the same thing, that is establishment of Islam. That is the whole point. And Islam is a politics. That's what we see every day. So I don't want this, I don't want that to be brought here in this discussion. We need to just stick on to this Kashmir issue and we need to listen to him. So you were mentioning about Raliv, Galiv, Ya Chaliv, right? Okay, I heard about this from this Kashmir Files movie, actually. And after that, I was listening to many other videos and I was reading about that, and I came to know about this. This is being so horrific, such a slogan that can instill fear into the most innocent minds in a way that they won't be able to sleep for nights. I know that. I get that feeling. Okay, then I just wanted to ask you two questions. When you were hearing this for the first time during those times, what was your age? I just wanted to know that. Okay.
6.5 years.
6.5. Okay. I was just 4 years old. 1990 means I'm just 4 years old. So I just wanted to know, when you hear this, and maybe you won't be able to grasp what it is saying, or the depth of danger, or the depth of the horror which is being engraved in that slogan. I'm not sure, or I don't know whether a 6-year-old kid will be able to understand that. But still, when your parents or when your kith and kins will be understanding that, and they will be running around, or they may be acting according to their feelings, how can you explain that? What did you see those days?
See, our home, we had a masjid behind our home. Mm-hmm. And my father's bedroom overlooked that masjid. So it was on the second floor. So I have heard all of these slogans and more of these slogans. I have seen terrorists wearing feather and all, with their Kalashnikovs and AK-56 under that. I've seen that. I have my very, very vivid memories of it. Mm-hmm. I have seen stone pelting on our house, our home. Okay. On 19 January. I have seen my father, asking my mother, my aunt, my grandmother, my 4-year-old sister to assemble in a place, lock it down with a kerosene cane, okay, and an axe. Axe was also, not in a very fine shape. Okay, it was all oxidized. Okay. And I've seen that, and he telling my mother that if anything happens, pour the kerosene and burn yourself. So I've seen that. I've also seen my father and my uncle perching on that rooftop for whole day, just waiting for the people to go, because they would have been killed. Because they were also called Sanghis. Okay. Jan Sanghis. So we had a 4-story Arif house, big house, 4-story, 22 rooms. Okay. I wrote an article also, my mother's 22 rooms. Okay. So we used to have our food on the ground floor, and then, like I said, my father's bedroom was on the second floor. And you're asking about the psychology of a 6.5-year-old boy.
That trauma.
I'll tell you what happened. What was a trauma? What was a trauma and what was a fear? Yeah. The amount of fear that we had. So we had to go up from the ground floor to the second floor after having our food. And we had heard that they are killing people, coming to their homes and shooting them. So I had heard this because it was all happening every day. Every day, 2-3 Kashmiri Hindus were killed. More than 2-3. So what I used to do was, because the ground floor used to face the main road, and I always thought that there will be some terrorists waiting outside that door to shoot my father. So as a 6-year-old boy, I used to let my father go up first, and then I used to go behind him, so that when they start shooting, I received the first bullet. My father is not will not be shocked. So this is something that has happened to me. It's something that has happened to every Kashmiri Hindu. There is a slang that the terrorist in the end of the movie says, "Batni do diye mas." You know, when he just cuts her into sawmill. So that is the most.
Can you please translate that?
But yeah, Batni matlab Kashmiri Pandit woman. Your hair will burn. What did you do to your husband, whose pant has fallen down? This is the most derogatory thing that you can say to a woman. And that was a very common thing said to a Kashmiri Hindu woman by Kashmiri Muslims every day.
Okay.
Whether they used to go to fetch vegetables, go to market, go to the schools, no matter what was the age of that woman, this was said to them on their face. Okay.
I'm just wondering how you are able to narrate this without without breaking down. How are you able to do this?
There's a lot of things that are, you know, genocide. The 1990s, the onslaught, facing that onslaught was one thing. Coming out of Kashmir and living into Jammu was the another phase of genocide, which needs to be narrated, which has not been narrated anything. Arif, I have stood in a line for half a tomato. I have stood my mother, who had 22 rooms home, stood in a line to fetch a pot of water. Okay. My father had to make a choice between getting a packet of his favorite cigarettes or getting me a school admission. He had to make that choice. My brother, I was 6.5 years old. I was brought up very well in Kashmir. I had every toy that you can name of. I had everything that you can name of. My brother didn't have the milk to drink. So what did my mother do? She used to give her milk in the morning. And in the evening, she used to just wash rice and take that white stuff and give it and add sugar and give it to my brother. He was only 6 months old at that time.
Okay.
When you're talking about numbers, when the people are talking about numbers, 209, 637, 2000, I'm telling you 2000. We are missing out of the numbers that were killed by sunstrokes, heat strokes, snake bites, diabetes,
Lack
blood
of
sugar,
medicine.
lack of medicine, lack of and also there were these numbers were 25,000.
Okay.
The first time the term stress diabetes has been used in world was coined by Dr. Chowdhary and was used for Kashmiri Hindus living in tents. Stress diabetes. We had never seen diseases like diabetes, blood pressure in Kashmir. So these are all exile, genocide inflicted diseases on us. The people who had big mansions, large rooms to live in, a newly wedded couple was forced to sleep in the same room as his parents, as other people in the room. There was a psychological issues with them also. The birth rate started dwindling. I hope you're getting what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
So it was not the numbers. What we would have been like if we are 7 lakh today, we were probably 10 lakhs. What happened to those 3 lakh which were never born?
Yeah.
There are multiple suicide attempts. I'll tell you, there was an old man. He was 85. He had never seen summers in his life. And in Kashmir, you had to wear that very heavy cloth called farran. It's made of wool. In the heat of Jammu at 47 degrees Celsius, he never took it off. There was a woman who never took that off and died because of that heat.
Okay.
What about those numbers? Who will account those numbers for them? Nobody talks about them. 20,000 to 25,000 people of my community have died like this.
Okay.
Have died in the first 3 years of our exile, in the first 3 years after 1990s.
Okay.
My own grandmother died in 2012. She wanted to go back. She told me, take me back to my home. And the next day she was gone.
Okay.
There has been one generation which is completely gone. There is next generation which will also go in exile. Probably my generation also. And my next generation. We are all working to ensure that we don't die in exile. We go to our homeland. We go to our Panun Kashmir that we call. We are all working for it.
Yeah.
Because dying in exile is the greatest curse that you can have. Not having your own land. Genocide is not about numbers. Genocide is also cultural genocide, language genocide. Our language is gone. Our children don't speak Kashmiri anymore. We are an ethnic community with ethnic rituals, completely distinct rituals. Most of the rituals are gone. Because land is always an anchor for a culture to survive. The land has been taken from us. And no government is even thinking on those terms. You cannot compare a genocide and tell us that you have given some jobs and that is the closure of that genocide. There has not been single prosecution. Forget prosecution. Not a single FIR has been opened. It is only after this 2019 Article 370 was amended that Yasin Malik and Bitta Karate, some of the FIRs have started opening up. And between Yasin Malik was not given any punishment for genocide of Hindus. It was an economical offense. It was part of that process. Probably the cases are still going on against Yasin Malik and Bitta Karate. But there has been no FIRs. There has been no prosecution. We go to Supreme Court and Supreme Court tells us that you are too late. The same Supreme Court opens up in the midnight for people like Yaqub Menon. The same Supreme Court opens up a case which tells that there was somebody else involved in the murder of Mahatma Gandhi. Just imagine. 1948, Nathuram Godse has said that, okay, I killed it. But Supreme Court started a case against a person, asked for an inquiry that there was somebody else also involved in the murder of Mahatma Gandhi in 1948. But when it comes to 1990 Hindu genocide, the same Supreme Court tells you that we are not, okay, this is too late. A lot of things have happened, so we will not take that. They don't take that case. But 1984 Sikh genocide, they open up with the SIT. Not a single SIT has been formed. Not a single SIT. Multiple SITs have been formed for Gujarat and etc. Multiple SITs.
There's no police...
Even when the court said that we don't want it.
Yeah, sorry. There's no police commissions or any such legal commissions being constituted to inquire about this, right?
Nothing. I told you, it's nothing. Forget about commissions. They have not even opened up a single FIR.
Yeah. Do you
FIR
think that,
reopened the FIR?
Yeah. Do you think that the 370 that was prevailing those days, that's one reason why these things got worsened and it made it this way? What's your take on that?
Yes, 370 was one of the major things that stopped the complete integration of Kashmir in India, state of Jammu and Kashmir. But 370 was not the only reason.
Okay. And about this Jagmohan, that governor who is being blamed for all this, the 1990 issue.
The problem with people is that they don't understand, they don't read the proper timelines of the Kashmir. The Kashmir genocide. If you read the proper timelines, you will understand Jagmohan had no real role to play other than giving us the tents to live in Kashmir.
Just giving some stamps.
It's just that he was made a scapegoat. So what happened? Jagmohan, even the blame that it was the BJP government at that point. BJP supported government. BJP government only came in December 1989. Jagmohan was made governor of Jammu and Kashmir on 18 January 1990. Farooq Abdullah resigned on 18 January 1990. But the first killing of the Kashmiri Hindu took place in March 1989. It was Prabhavati. From March 1989 to 18 January 1990, more than 65 to 70 killings of Kashmiri Hindu took place. More than 65 to 70. So Jagmohan did not initiate that, and amongst the people who were killed were the most tallest leaders, the people the Kashmiri Hindu would always follow. Pandit Tekalal Taplu, Pandit Premnath Bhatt, Justice Neelkanth Ganju, and people like him.
So
and probably lesser toll also.
yeah, so in fact, this 1990 January and those incidents were just the closing ceremony of the long program of winning back Kashmir by the Islamist militants.
19 January was the culmination of the events that happened from 1986.
Okay.
1986, there was, which is not being told, and probably even you won't find in the record, but there was a bomb blast also, which happened in 1984 in a Kashmiri Pandit medical shop in 1984.
Okay.
Then there were successive bomb blasts which happened in Press Club, which happened in Boat Club also, I think, in Kashmir, and Nehru Park also. And when these bomb blasts were happening, our most happening chief minister, who was about to be made opposition's presidential candidate, Mr. Farooq Abdullah, was busy playing golf. So when the chief secretary went to him, told them that the bomb blast is happening, he said, let me putt it and then I'll come back. So it's Farooq Abdullah.
Okay.
It was the same Farooq Abdullah who released 72 dreaded terrorists. 70 dreaded terrorists in December 1989. From July 1989 to December 1989. Most of the terrorists were responsible for killing of Kashmiri.
Okay.
Nobody asked him these questions. He released them. It was the same Farooq Abdullah who on 18 January, before resigning, called all the CRPF from the villages to the cities.
Okay.
Knowing that it is villages which are nearing the border are the most infested with terrorism. Same Farooq Abdullah. It was the same Mufti Muhammad Sayyid who orchestrated these riots in 1986. Same Mufti Muhammad.
Okay.
It was the same Mufti Muhammad Sayyid who orchestrated the kidnapping of his daughter Rubia Sayyid and released the most dreaded terrorists, which gave the terrorism a steroid shot.
Yeah.
They said that we had defeated the Home Minister of India.
True. That gave them
they
a
said
chance.
That we had defeated India.
Yeah.
They were celebrating the defeat of India. It gave them an impetus. It just pushed them to the next level of terrorism. It was only after Jagmohan became the governor and some process started of curbing the terrorism and he was called back. Then the most unsung hero of the counter-insurgency operations in Kashmir has been the governor Girish Chandra Sakhri.
So you see that this...
so who actually broke the...
Yeah, just a second. So you see the abduction of Rabia as as something which is being orchestrated?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Ask every Kashmiri, Hindu, Muslim. They will tell you that Rubia Sayyid was having Goshtabaz and Rogan Josh at a place where she was said that he was kidnapped. Okay. Rubia Sayyid was enjoying picnic while it was said that and everybody in Kashmir knew it. Everybody in Kashmir knew where is she living right now. And it was Mufti Muhammad Sayyid who who told them that they need to release the daughter. Yeah. And she was released.
Yeah.
And the terrorists were released.
Yeah, when we talk about these terrorists, we know that two people, that Bitta Karate and this Yasin Malik, these two people are notorious for their actions, which was even depicted in this movie as well. So, what do you feel the way the Indian government was dealing them, especially when this Yasin Malik was being given in a very prominent presence in our media as well?
Bitta Karate, an interview to Manoj Raghuvanshi, admitted of killing Kashmiri Hindus.
Sorry?
He admitted of killing Bitta Karate in an interview.
Yeah.
In an interview to Manoj Raghuvanshi, admitted of killing Kashmiri Hindus.
Yeah.
He said that after 40, I have lost account. I don't know how many I have killed after 40.
Yeah.
This is
I have seen that interview, and I was really wondering when that anger was asking how many killings have you done. He was really confused and he was literally counting. He was not able to give a proper answer.
Yes, and he said that I lost the count.
I lost the count. Yeah.
And do you know what happened with Bitta Karate? Bitta Karate was released by court due to lack of evidence. The judge said that I know that you have done these killings, but I don't have evidence against him. So he was released. He went back to Kashmir. He was given a hero's welcome.
Yeah.
Google search Pitta Karate.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And he was married, off to a KAS administration officer,
Oh,
Kashmir
great.
Administrative Service officer.
Mm-hmm.
Officer he was married off to, as you know, and they are still married. Pitta Karate. So this was butcher of Kashmiri Hindus. When he was asked that how did you know that this is a Kashmiri Hindu? He said that I used to smell them. I used to get a smell of Kashmiri Hindu and I used to shot them. And how did he use to? And see, the audacity with which he shot Kashmiri Hindus is something that we need to know. He was not masked. He used a revolver to kill them. And he shot them point blank.
Yeah.
And he stayed there till they died. When he killed Satish Tikku was still alive.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody told them that he's still alive. He went back and shot him again.
Oh.
This was Vithal.
Even after escaping one shot.
Escaping, yes.
Okay.
He went back and shot him again.
Oh.
Yasin Malik in BBC Hot Talk program clearly says that yes, I have killed Indian Air Force officers.
Mm-hmm.
I'll send you the clip. The clip is available with me.
Yeah.
It has been taken out by YouTube, but we still have downloaded those clips.
Oh, okay.
And the same Yasin Malik is invited by the Prime Minister of India for a cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
The same Yasin Malik is hailed as Indian of the Year by India Today Group.
Okay.
And from the same seminar, we are thrown out. From the same seminar, we are thrown out. We were the people who opposed that award to him, and we were thrown out of the seminar.
So when
and
you
who were the people with?
Yeah, just wanted to interrupt. Sorry. That is, when you see all these, like these kind of people getting acknowledged or they being treated as heroes, what's the feeling that your community or these people living in exile, what's the feeling that you get?
Hopelessness.
Okay.
We feel very hopeless. We feel dejected.
Mm-hmm.
And
betrayed.
We also
by the government.
And we also feel that we have not been able to tell our story better.
Okay.
Had we been, people would have not welcomed.
Right.
I personally think that
that's true.
even now, there are millions of people who still consider them to be freedom fighters. Millions of people in India.
Mm-hmm.
They need to know that they are not freedom fighters. They are mercenaries of Islam. They are there to establish Sharia, and they are coming for you also.
Definitely.
And you won't get a whiff of it when they come. Like you will be taken by surprise, and like locusts. You know, when John Raja writes in Rajadhara, the similar thing will happen to you. You won't even get to know about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because one Nupur Sharma makes a statement, entire India is burned down.
Yeah.
But thousands of overseas make multiple statements against Hindus. Nobody comes out. Nobody is bothered.
Mm-hmm.
Just understand. And there are 57 countries behind them.
Okay.
We don't have one country behind us.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have Indian state behind us.
Okay.
So
what I felt earlier, this is all about the militancy or the Azad Kashmir, that kind of slogans that was getting erased, like to make Kashmir as a part of Pakistan, and that's one of the main reasons. Is that
no? One of the more that is the political reason, the political side of it.
Mm-hmm.
But the actual side of it is that it is establishment of Sharia and extension of Bezwan.
Okay.
They are fighting the 1,000-year war against you, and we are still calling it merging of Pakistan. They didn't stop at Pakistan. They got there Pakistan. They didn't stop at that. Mm-hmm. They have converted more than 5,000. They have created more than 5,000 Kashmirs in India, which are going to be converted in more than 5,000 Pakistans. They are there for Balkanization of Indian Sanskrit civilization.
Yeah, we talk about that.
That is what they are doing.
Yeah,
that is what they are doing exactly.
Yeah, we talk much about that in Kerala, because we usually say that Kerala is the next Kashmir. That's one of the main thing which
Kerala is not next Kashmir. Kerala has become Kashmir.
Yeah, to an extent, I would agree that.
It's not next.
Okay, so yeah, I think
It's
it's
not
almost
mixed.
1 hour, as we have promised that I won't take much time from you, because if we start talking about this, you know that it won't suffice just 1 hour or so to explain all these things. And even, do you think that the movie called Kashmir File has shown the real picture, or what percent of your actual life has been depicted in this movie? What do you say about that movie? I don't think that this is
Like I said, the Kashmir Files is
sorry.
no, this completely. This is a wonderful question to ask, because
Yeah.
Kashmir Files is one story out of 7 lakhs.
Okay.
There are 66,99,999 stories still to be told.
Okay. So it's just the
Until the
beginning. It's a
time,
tip of the
it
iceberg.
is just the beginning. And it is tip of the iceberg. Absolutely, it's tip of the iceberg, but it is commendable.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot of guts, a lot of challenge to make a movie like that.
Okay.
And Vivek Agnihotri ji has done a tremendous job, and he put on stake his entire career
Yeah.
just to show our story.
And I do
And
believe,
he never knew that it was going to be such a blockbuster hit.
yeah.
He thought that, because we were also in touch with some of the people associated with the movie.
Mm-hmm.
They were thinking that it will run for a week or two,
Mm-hmm.
and then it will go on OTT, and then we'll promote it from OTT platform. But it was taken by people. They were surprised. I saw people who used to call me, "Arey, tum to lade nahi, baat ki nahi," and saying sorry. I received multiple sorries from them, and saying that we never knew that this happened to me. But the story of resilience of Kashmiri Hindus is still to be told.
Mm-hmm.
We are a resilient community. We have survived the onslaught, and we are still surviving and fighting the Islamic onslaught. We are still in the war and defeating Islam by being Hindus. The only thing that we had to do was to convert.
Okay.
But we didn't convert. We have stood Hindus, stood our ground, and that is their defeat. And they will keep on, and we'll keep on defeating them. So that is the resilience that we have.
Yeah. So
We are a very resilient community. I'm very proud of my community.
yeah. So one
Very proud.
question that I have to go back is about that slogan, that is Raliv, Galiv and Chaliv. In that, the Galiv means to convert, right?
Gali means to kill.
To kill. Okay. So Raliv means to convert, right?
Raliv is the first thing that they offer you is convert.
Okay. So do you know any?
Second, they offer is to get killed, and if you survive, then you run.
Yeah. So I'm asking you that do you know anyone closely that who had converted to Islam just by seeing all this, or by getting terrified?
Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah's father.
Mm-hmm.
Sheikh Abdullah's father converted by hearing all these things.
Okay.
99% of the Kashmiri Muslims that you see today in Kashmir have all heard about these things and converted. So I know any Kashmiri Muslim you see on the road, or in Kerala, anywhere, is a converted Hindu.
Oh, okay.
So any, and this conversion will not be, they will be like fifth generation or sixth generation.
Okay.
Like Farooq Abdullah, Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah was a first generation convert.
Mm-hmm.
So Omar Abdullah is a third generation convert.
Yeah. And
So
one
this
more.
is, so they
Yeah.
ask them about their ancestry. They won't be able to go back to more than 4 people.
Okay.
And then it will be a Hindu ancestry for them.
Okay. So they converted from this Kashmiri Pandits to Islam.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Raliv Gali is not a phenomena, a recent phenomenon.
Yeah, I know
Raliv
that.
Chali
It's
Gali
not
was
just
said-
in India. It's not just in Kashmir.
Raliv Chali Gali was something said in Kashmir in 15th century.
No, it's there in Islam. It's there in the book. I know that. So it's just the Kashmiri version of Islam. That's what we see there.
Yes.
So my next question is about one of the main allegations of the movie, that the movie tries to portray in a way that there were no good Muslims who were trying to shield the Kashmiri Pandits. So
I didn't see.
what's
I
your
didn't
take
see
on
any
that?
good Muslims. I didn't see. I'm still to see any good Muslims.
Okay. So you mean to say that
What
almost...
I see is all al-Taqi. I'll give you, see.
Hmm.
I'll state my truth, and you'll get to know the truth of it.
Hmm.
When we when we were about to leave Kashmir,
Mm-hmm.
my grandmother locked our house and gave the keys to our neighbor, his name was Nassa, and told him to, you take care of my home.
Hmm.
Rasa was a person who was fed in my home since the time he was born. And at that point of time, he must have been 50s, late 50s.
Okay.
So for the 50 years, he was fed by my family, or my grandmother, probably great-grandmother. And he was given the keys of her home.
Okay.
30 minutes, Arif, 30 minutes after we left and reached the bus stand to leave for Jammu, our another neighbor came in and he said that Lassa has looted your house.
Oh.
Every block. We have not sold our home right now. Till now. Our home still remains there.
It's still there. Okay.
And his children have occupied that home. And they have the audacity to come to Delhi and tell us to sell it at 10% or 20% of the price. And they tell us that we will not never come back. And we always throw them out, kick them out of our home. And we said that we don't need money. That is our home. They have completely painted it down. And this is the truth of one Vithal Chowdhary and one Lassa. One Hindu, one Muslim. So there were 7 lakh Hindus, there will be 7 lakh stories like this. Now there is one thing that they said that Kashmiri Muslims were also killed. By terrorists. Absolutely, they were killed. But they were, because in the stages of genocide, they were classified as people who were closer to Hindus, closer to India.
Okay.
That is the reason they were killed. And this happens in every genocide. Don't you think that Jews never killed any Germans? Schindler was a German. Yeah? He was not a Jew, but he saved a lot of Jews also, right? So there must be some of the people. I have not seen. I have not, my experience doesn't tell me that there are some of the people like them. There may be. I am not denying that, but I have not seen anybody like Schindler in the Kashmiri Muslim community.
So okay, so I think I need to put this question into another way. That usually we used to say that when we talk about the Islamic militancy or this Islamic terrorism, we usually say that that's just a minority. There's a peaceful majority out there. So that is those creating the problems are the minority, and the majority are peaceful. That's what we used to say here outside Kashmir, or on a bigger picture, where on an international viewpoint, we used to say that way. But when it comes to Kashmir, and when it comes to your perspective, the majority were terrorists, and maybe the minority were even insignificant. That's what you want to say?
10% of the people only picked, 10% of Kashmiri Muslims picked up the gun. Less than 10%.
Sorry?
But the 90% of 10%.
Okay.
A specific minority amongst Kashmiri Muslims picked up the gun and killed Kashmiri Muslims.
Okay.
But the majority of them supported them, hailed them as Ghazis, welcomed them, garlanded them, awarded them their daughters for killing Kashmiri Hindus.
Okay.
So who is the bigger criminal here? The person who picked up the gun, or the person who supplied the ammunition to them? Who hailed them as heroes? Pick up any video of 1989, 90s in Kashmir and see the faces of people. There will be 5-7 people holding up Kalashnikovs and lakhs of people hailing them as heroes.
So it's almost like both are the same team.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. If you are not opposing the untruth, you're part of the falsehood.
Yeah,
You're part of the lie.
Yeah, I'm asking this because when we talk about this genocide and the number of killings, usually these people always come with a number of Muslims being killed in this period. So what do you have to say about that? The number of Muslims being killed. What might be the reason?
But reasons are there are 2 reasons for it. One, that they chose to get killed for their azad, for establishing Nizam al-Mustafa. They chose a war against Indian state, Indian civilization, and Indian army, Indian security agencies are taking care of it.
Okay.
So let it be Hindu, Muslim, or whosoever picks up a gun against Indian state will be dealt in the same way. Now their bad luck is that they are all Muslims who have picked up a gun in Kashmir, and they are getting killed. Second is that people who were killed were classified as Indian agents, were classified as people who are closer to the Hindu community and moderates. So in any process of genocide, this happens. The people from the majority community, the genociding community, are also killed because they think that they're saving these people.
Okay.
That was their take. That is why they were killed. And the numbers that they give, 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 10 lakh, are all exaggerated figures. All exaggerated.
Mm-hmm.
You ask any random Kashmiri Muslim how many people Muslims have been killed, one will say 1 lakh, other will say 2 lakh, and next will say 3 lakh. So it depends on his mood and the audience that he's facing. When he talks to us, they cannot give numbers because 1 lakh people in the last 32 days means every day 8 Kashmiri Muslims were killed. Mm-hmm. Every day. Even as we are talking, somebody would be killed in Kashmir. Mm-hmm. This never happens.
Okay.
But yes, they were killed. Yes, they was. But that is they chose it for themselves. They asked for it.
Okay. So I think our time is almost up. So I think we need to conclude now. And I would say that this is something very much enlightening or which throws a lot of light towards the issues or towards the incidents that happened. And this must be a reason for any of these listeners out there to start looking for the timeline of the events, especially not to begin with 1986, not to stop there. You can go back and back and back where all these religious reasons started cropping up in these kind of political fights, and now it is purely a fight which is being fought in the name of religion, in the name of communities, where a group of people like the Kashmiri Pandits being forced to go exile from their own land. So being a free thinker, what I have in my mind is that I don't believe in this kind of borders, and what I wanted to see is the same way when our forefathers who walked from the Africa towards India and to the Australian mainlands and throughout the world, we must be able to walk back to Africa without any visa and without any mentioning of any of these borders. So that's the ultimate dream that we are dreaming for. So in such an era, in our lifetime, in a time when I was just a toddler, and when Vithal Chowdhary was 6.5 years old, he was facing a genocide kind of incident, which is a nightmare, and which he might be carrying the memories for throughout his life, and his children and his family. I forgot to ask about your parents. Where are they now?
They live with me.
Okay.
I live with them, brother.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so yeah, so I can imagine how the life of these kind of refugees, being a refugee in an own country, that's something which have to be seen in a different manner. Like, that's something which we cannot imagine. We have seen refugees coming from one country to another country, going from here and there and all, but this is something very much haunting, like in a way that being forced to go into exile from a place like this. And when we talk about Kashmir, we always say that that's the paradise on the earth. And me being from Kerala, which is the God's own country, I wanted to extend our wholehearted support and solidarity towards your dream and your problems that's being faced by you. And I and my viewers here, we are always trying to bring about the real facts and the real truth outside, so that people can discuss about them. We are not trying to force anything into them. They can just listen to these things, and they can take this as an opportunity to learn more about that, and by that they can form own conclusions and own opinions about that, so that none of these liberal political parties who are judging or who are trying to force their opinions over to you, and that's how we were forced to even forget this incident, this Kashmiri genocide, Kashmiri Pandit genocide. So they were forcing us to forget that this incident was not properly taught to us in our colleges. It was not part of our history as well. So being a political tool, this Kashmiri Pandit issue is purely a political tool now, and it is being used by the political parties all over the country. And even in international politics, we can see that people bringing up that over and over, like especially by the politicians from Pakistan, where I have seen Benazir Bhutto and even Imran Khan speaking about all this. So it's really funny to see them speak about all this when there is fire over their foot. So that's what we see. So we need to bring an end to all these sufferings. They need to go back to their homes. Their homes are being waiting there since last 30 plus years. So they need to go back. So we need to do whatever things we can do from our part so that they can go back to their home and they can enjoy the cup of tea that we used to enjoy in our evenings, especially by looking at the sunset in a cold morning or cold evening in a Kashmir valley. So that's a dream of me, in me that way. So one final question and a conclusion is based on that. That is, after this political scenario that is getting changed in our country, like the BJP came into power and they repealed this 370, and now they are giving much importance to us. They are publicizing that they are giving much importance to this issue of the Kashmiri Pandits. What's your opinion about that? Do you think that your issues will be solved very soon?
Well, I hope so.
Okay.
I hope so. Article 370 was the first step.
And by seeing all the support coming from this BJP,
high hopes from.
Yeah, have you turned out to be a?
There's a lot that is needed to be done. The first step towards the effort would be to recognize that a genocide has happened.
Okay, and that's happening.
They need to officially recognize it.
Yeah.
No, that is not happening by they are just saying it. They need to officially recognize it and pass a legislation.
Okay.
To recognize the genocide as happening.
All
the
support.
perpetrators of the genocide have been taken consequence.
Yeah.
And second thing, which I you just mentioned, Kerala and Kashmir. So there is a very ancient connection of Kerala and Kashmir. The man from Kerala started his journey.
Yeah, Shankaracharya.
Revived everything.
Yeah, I know. There's a temple. Yeah, there's a temple there. A place is named after that person.
Yes.
Right?
So
Shankaracharya.
Malayali. Yes. So it is the people of Kerala have again to rise and reclaim Sanatan for it. And we are at the top of it. We have been facing the brunt, but you need to revive. And like what we say in management, the change has to come from the bottom.
Yeah,
it's a bottoms-up approach always. So Kerala starts it, and Kashmir will continue.
Definitely.
So there is another Shankaracharya very soon.
Yeah, we hope so. And yeah, that's something. And by seeing all the support pouring in from this BJP or this right-wing politics, have you turned out to be a right-wing politician, or are you a Sanghi in simple terms?
I'm a Sanghi Sanghi. You understand?
Okay, what's that?
Eccentric Sanghi.
Eccentric.
I'm an eccentric Sanghi. I'll tell you, it's a very, very, this Sanghi term, there's a very recent phenomena calling people Sanghi and all that. But in Kashmir, the Hindus are always called Sanghi.
Oh, okay. Why is it so? Is there any particular reason for that?
Because we were always seen that we'll be part of a larger Hindu dominant society.
Okay.
So we were itemized in that Sanghi, these are Sanghis, these are backed by RSS. Even a puja done in a temple was backed by RSS. So they used to think so, which was not the case. So Sanghi, anybody who's talking about Hindu rights is a Sanghi. Yeah, anybody who's talking about Muslim rights is a moderate. Is everything is fine? Is a secular. Problem in India is that you don't talk about Hindu rights. Yeah. So being Sanghi is a good thing. Who doesn't want to be part of an organization which is 100 years old and the largest in the world? So okay. And more so, if your enemy is scared of a term, use it even if you are not. I am not a member of RSS, but whenever they call me Sanghi, I say yes, I am a Sanghi.
Yeah,
I am very proud to be a Sanghi, but I'm not a member of RSS. I've never been.
Yeah, obviously that happens. That labeling and monitoring, that's pretty easy these days.
That is part of that is another part of genocide. I said that read that 8 stages of genocide, and you will be fascinated that anything that is happening to you are one of those stages on.
Okay.
That is one of the stages. You are classified. Sanghi.
Yeah.
Then you are identified and exterminated finally. And then the last stage is denial. Then the entire thing is denied. Nothing sort of that this scene happened. And no Girja Tikku was raped. No Sarvanand Kol Premi was killed. No Vithal Chowdhary is living in exile. So this is called the denial, process of denial.
Anyway, so happy to be here with you and to listen to your these kind of narrations, which I was holding tight to not to break down. Okay, and I was really wondering how you are able to narrate all these terrific moments in your life, especially when you were a toddler. So thank you so much for your time, and I hope this will reach. Yeah,
Thank you for inviting me.
Hope this will reach
Giving
more
me a
people.
chance to speak.
Hope this will reach more people, and hope to see you soon in person as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye bye.
Take care.